Hi, my name is Diego Gonzalez, and I will demonstrate how to bake homemade Cuban bread. How many of you have made bread? Probably all of you have already have all of the utensils and ingredients at your home. It is a fulfilling experience, a good hobby for those tough times. Next, I am going to give some history behind the Cuban bread, followed by a how-to video of the process of elaboration. Now, for some history behind this kind of bread. What is Cuban bread? Cuban style bread is a popular bread within the Latin community. It has all the regular ingredients of classic bread with an extra one, some form of fat. Despite its name, it does not have anything to do with the Caribbean islands. The birth of Cuban bread loaf can be traced back to the late 1800s, when a Sicilian baker by the name of Francis Ferlita brought the original recipe from his home country to the Tampa area. So, where did the Cuban name come from? The name was given by the first Cuban immigrants when they used it to make their famous Cuban sandwiches. To make this type of bread, we are going to need some utensils: a mixing bowl, a fork, a small knife, measuring spoons, measuring cups, clean kitchen towel, parchment paper, and a Dutch oven. We're also going to need ingredients: a tablespoon of yeast, 1.5 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1/4 tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of the extra ingredient, or in my case, shortening, 3 cups of flour plus a little extra, and a tablespoon of olive oil. For the preparations of the bread, in a large mixing bowl, mix the yeast with the sugar and 1/2 cup, and 1/2 cup of room temperature water, and let it stand for 5 minutes. All right, yeast. Wait, what was it again? Mix the yeast with the sugar. Gotcha. Let it stand for 5 minutes, and I'll catch you guys shortly. After letting it rest for 5 minutes, mix in the remaining 1 cup of water and the salt, and it might as well add the shortening or the extra fat. And then you mix it. All right. After mixing it a bit, you need to start adding the flour 1 cup at a time. And I like mixing mine with hands, so I get messy. Well, I'll start with the fork though. And you need to do this for about 4 minutes once you add all the flour to it. Once done kneading the bread, place some oil on a little bowl, or it doesn't matter if it's a little or anything, just a little bit of oil. And then you just kind of place the bowl, and I'm pretty sure you have to place the bread upside down from where you have the knots, and then you just kind of twist it around, because it prevents the dough from sticking to the surface of the walls. And now with a clean kitchen rag, you cover it and you let it rise for at least 2 hours. So after letting the dough sit for about 30 minutes, you take the dough, you pick it up, You get it out of here as any way you can, pretty much. And you just kind of flip it onto the parchment paper. And then you make it into a little ball. Once you have it into a little ball, you just pick it up, slide it into the Dutch oven, and you have to let it sit for an additional 30 minutes. And this would be pretty much a good time to start preheating your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, the first time I let it sit for 2 hours. This time I'm letting it sit now for 30 minutes. And once it's set for 30 minutes, we can place it on the oven. So once you're done baking the bread, where it's golden brown, and you've let it sit in a water rack for a bit for it to cool, you should notice that when you tap it on the bottom, it sounds kind of hollow. So with this demonstrative presentation, I showed you how easy it is to make Cuban bread at home. With things and ingredients already at hand, it always comes out perfect. It just takes a couple of simple ingredients in the right proportions, and you will have a culinary experience like no other. There is nothing better than preparing things your way. It does not matter if you like to go to the fancy way with expensive stand mixers and bread machines, or if you're like me and you like the simple route with fork mixing and hand kneading. With a little bit of patience, it always comes out perfect.